Okay, today I'm going to talk about the effect of throwing on different target locations upon throwing performance in elite female handball players. As you all know, velocity and accuracy in handball throwing are most important things. You can throw very hard without any accuracy and hope that the goalkeeper doesn't defend it or the opponent. Or you can throw accurate but with a lower velocity. That's also a possibility. So, because there's an inverse relationship, according to Fitz's law, who says that there's a between the difficulty of the task and the velocity at which you can perform the task. So, for example, if you want to throw very hard, your accuracy is going down. That's what Fitz's law says. Or when you're throwing for accuracy, then the velocity is going down. Because he says the brain can't do two things in one time. So he has to balance that one. That's what Fitz's law says, but he does it in simple tasks, like moving from one side to the other side and increase the velocity. Has it something to do with handball? I did earlier studies in handball who looked at this relationship, but then we looked at the effect of instruction. Throw as fast as possible or throw as accurate as possible. And there I already saw that when you throw as fast as possible, the accuracy is not going down compared to when you throw as accurate as possible. Because when you throw accurate, the velocity is going down. So there's something changing in your brain. But still, when you throw as fast as possible, the accuracy is not going down. So it's partly following Fitz's law. The problem with all those studies are, the target was always in the middle of the goal. Where's the goalkeeper? In the middle of the goal. So that's stupid of me that I did all those studies in the middle of the goal, but I learned. So that has a low external validity. So what did I do? Since a lot of my students are into soccer, they want to show it if it's also in soccer. But then I said, yeah, but we have to do it in different corners, because straightforward, we also did straightforward, the first one. But then we look at left and the right side. And we saw in soccer that when you kick to the contralateral side, so to the opposite side, you've got a higher ball velocity and a better accuracy than when you kick to the other side. Then when you look at biomechanics and look at the anatomy, that's normal, because it's much more natural to have this rotation in soccer instead of going to the opposite side, to the ipsilateral side. So, because you can use the pelvis rotation. However, no studies are done in handball with different targets. And it could be very interesting if you have a 7 meters, where do I shoot to have the biggest chance to score a goal as a player? So the purpose of this study was to investigate the effects of the 4 different targets of every corner of the goal upon the throwing velocity and the accuracy in elite female handball players. So it was hypothesized that the ball velocity was higher when you shoot down on the contralateral side. Because the thought was like, okay, same as in soccer, you could use much more the rotational rotational velocity of the hip and the shoulder. That was my thought. And to follow Fitz's law, higher velocity would say a lower accuracy. So we used 13 elite female handball players from Norway. They had to throw randomly ordered 10 throws on every of each of the 4 targets. So, yes. Yeah, 4 targets, the ipsilateral up, down, contralateral up, and contralateral down. So a total of 40 throws. We measured the velocity with the radar gun and the throwing accuracy with the video camera from the back, from 50 meters distance, and then we measured the accuracy. And this three ways: the mean radial error, the bivariate error, and the centroid error. And a lot of us think, what type of errors are that? I will show them. Mean radial error is the average of the absolute distance to the center of the target. The bivariate variable error consistency is the average of the absolute distance to the subject's own midpoint, because it's possible that you've got a little bias, as we call the centroid error, the absolute distance from the subject's midpoint to the absolute midpoint there. Because it's possible that you're very accurate, but you've got a little bias. That's pretty normal. So those 3 accuracy measurements we had. Then, what did the results show? Hey, ipsilateral up, significantly higher than the contralateral side. That's already trying, how high is that? That's good. And the other thing is, the ipsilateral side down also significantly higher than the contralateral side up. Then the accuracy. No difference in the mean radial error, it's the same. No differences in the centroid error, but there's a significant difference in the contralateral side up. They're less accurate than in the contralateral side down and the ipsilateral side down. You see here. So, to conclude or to discuss, opposite of the hypothesis, ipsilateral side, higher velocity than the contralateral side. Also, lower accuracy when thrown up on the contralateral side than down. It's also opposite. Not following Fitz's law either. So why? That's the question. My thought was the higher hip and shoulder rotation velocity are not of main importance because they occur very early in the throw. It was a 7-meter throw. And they occur very early in the acceleration. So, and as you already know, most of you know, the internal rotation, that's the most important contributor to the ball velocity. That happens very late. So if you even do this early, you still independently can do this. And this is only straightforward. This is most important, straightforward. So if you are left-handed, that's why I'm putting left-hander up. So here, especially for those guys who don't understand the left-hand side. So here, this side is much easier. So that's why perhaps the ipsilateral side is easier to throw at. So, however, we need to do a kinematic analysis for it. To be honest, I already done it, but it's not analyzed yet. Last week we did the identification of all the markers. So next time I can show you what's really happening then in the kinematics. Perhaps you've got other suggestions why it is. And we already did, because it's a 7-meter throw. Again, external validity for a normal position is not so very high. So it's perhaps better to use it from the own position with a run-up. As I said, I didn't say it, but we already did that done also. And I showed already there, then we got other results. Then you throw better on the downside, on the down corners, than on the corners up. And there's no difference between the contralateral side and the ipsilateral side then. But there's a significantly higher velocity, throwing velocity, when you're throwing down. The accuracy is not measured yet, it's measured but not analyzed yet. But we did a little study already that can be then changed for the corner where you are poorest and throwing. Just 10 minutes per training extra on, or especially only in your corner where you're worst on, and we can increase the ball velocity. With other opponents, but they already increased it, and that's for a few weeks' time. So, thank you for your attention.